Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Streggy. And since I've already gone and done the reviews of Jurassic World and The Fallen Kingdom, I figured I'd go backwards and talk about Jurassic Park from 1993, which was directed by Steven Spielberg and put out by Universal. Now, this goes back quite a few years since I was quite young when I saw it. Now, I was, like I've said before, I've always been very interested in dinosaurs. And when I was in second grade, I remember going to the Milwaukee Public Museum and going to the Triceratops skeleton exhibit, which is right before you enter into um, that Tyrannosaurus Rex area where it's like eating the Triceratops and the glacier like rocks and whatnot. And I remember talking about the Triceratops and what it actually ate and everything. And now I actually remember seeing this movie in the theater, but I also remember the McDonald's commercials that beginning scene. You see that metal cage come towards, and out pops a Happy Meal or a meal of some sort. And so I definitely feel like the marketing of the film was had set some of the tone, but actually the music is somewhat what draws me into the film to begin with. So I mean, you got that beginning scene, you hear the dum da dum da da da. And of course, you have that beginning raptor scene where you have a scene where there's a couple workers trying to get a dinosaur into a part of the park, and one of the workers gets killed while trying to get this thing in there. Well, after this happens, Hammond goes and tries to get a couple of scientists to sign off on the park. And well, let's take a look at I mean, you have quite a few characters in here. I mean, you got Sam Neill, you got Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough, Bob Peck, Martin Ferrero, B.D. Wong, Joseph Mazzello, Ariana Richards, Samuel L. Jackson, Wayne Knight, Gerald R. Mullen, Miguel Sandoval, and quite a few others. I mean, you have quite a few actors here, some of them newer, some of them older, but I mean, I remember Jeff Goldblum as always being this weird character and being Grundle the Fly. So, I mean, but ultimately, Hammond, who is played by Richard Attenborough, he is a dreamer, and he has created genetically enhanced dinosaurs for a park, an amusement park to open up to the public. And he, in order to investors to sign off on the park, he needs some very cool scientists to sign off on it. So at first, when you see Sam Neill play Dr. Grant, I mean, we're talking paleontologists. These guys have just discovered a new dinosaur. Well, not a new dinosaur, but a velociraptor skeleton. And there's a very interesting scene in the beginning where he has an argument with a fat little chubby kid, and that kind of sets some of the tone for Dr. Grant's character throughout the film. But Hammond is able to get Dr. Grant and Ellie to helicopter down to this island off the coast of Costa Rica with another doctor of chaos theory by the name of Dr. Malcolm, Dr. Ian Malcolm to be precise, who was played by Jeff Goldblum. So we have these characters get to the park, and they get in these cool looking Jeeps, which are made for the park. And so what he does is he takes them out to see their first magnificent sight, which is a brachiosaur, who, uh, as you may well know, if you have not have seen or have not seen the film, the brachiosaur just kind of goes up into the air, and he just comes right back down, and you feel the whole earth tremble as he says, "Dr. Sadler, my dear Dr. Grant, welcome to Jurassic Park." Well, in any case, once they go back to the main um, building, they kind of go on a tour of the genetics and what happens behind. And so what they learn is that they found out that some of the genetic codes of frogs and some ancient DNA from dinosaurs, you can create living, breathing dinosaurs with the right codes, and they broke those codes to recreate and, shall I say, gene splice these dinosaurs into being living, breathing things. Now, according to Dr. Wu, who is one of Hammond's leading scientists, who is played by B.D. Wong, who plays him extremely well, I think. He says that all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were created specifically to be female. And as the film goes on, we learn that this is not true. Now, we also have another character involved in here, and he ends up playing Hammond's son, I believe, Nedry, and he's played by Wayne Knight, which we know him from Seinfeld, and he's just fat, doesn't really take care of his desk job, and he's working there for apparently to have his daddy support him. Well, evidently he has concocted a plan to collect a lot of the dinosaur DNA and sell them off to the highest bidder. In order to do so, he is a computer nerd, so he hacks the Jurassic Park system, and the system go down while he goes to deliver these in a canister that he has been given that looks like a Barbasol shaving can. Well, in any case, there is a storm brewing, and he runs into some problems of his own, which, when he turned off the lights and the system in the old bark, it let out a few dinosaurs that kind of got in his way. Meanwhile, there was a sick Triceratops, and ultimately, when all the systems go down and Nedry goes missing, the kids and the Dr. Grant and Jeff Goldblum are left in the same area on their tour, which is electronically it kind of stops in the Tyrannosaur park. And so when the lamb is eaten and the lamb kind of just smashes onto the top of the car, it scares the kids, and ultimately we see our first glance of the Tyrannosaurus Rex crash the gate and try to take down the vehicle. The grandkids of Hammond. Which the children have actually come to visit the park and visit their grandfather as well. So I guess I would say the worst thing about the film is the how much Ariana Richards as Lex screams almost the entire movie. She is such a girl. I mean, a girly girl. She screams at everything and anything. And I honestly think that vegetarians themselves are weird myself. So I wouldn't. I don't know where to go from here. But in any case, Samuel L. Jackson plays one of the guys who heads Hammond's security, and he ultimately finds a way to turn the park back on. Meanwhile, the grandkids and Dr. Grant have to survive the park overnight, and I think that this was a very coming of age film, man versus dinosaur. The dinosaurs were mainly animatronic, and some of it was CGI'd even then. But you got to see a lot of the, you know, what now the differences between the novel and the movie is that there were actually two Tyrannosaurus Rexes, a mother and a baby, which actually ended up being in the third film. And they also came across the pterodactyl cage in the original novel, which, as we well know, came up in the third film as well. So it's like they expanded some of the novel and created their own story to go with the third film, just to get those two items in there in the trilogy, to at least to me. But in any case, I thought that this film was brilliant for its time. I loved the majesty, the majestic quality of the Tyrannosaurus Rex when it was fighting with the raptors at the end. I absolutely loved the part where the raptors were, were trying to find where the kids were in the kitchen when they had come back and thought that everything was, that they were done being chased. Well, I thought that the kids, well, especially Tim, he was a better actor than Lex was. Although, you know, it was definitely meant to be much more of a B movie. So, but one thing that I do have to say is that Ian Malcolm, when they were powering up a jeep to look for Dr. Grant and the kids, Ellie found Dr. Ian shortly after the lawyer had been eaten off of a toilet, which was probably the best part of the film, and everybody will remember that scene. Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. But in any case, Ian Malcolm says a line in there that says, "Must go faster, must go faster, must go faster," which he ultimately repeats in the film Independence Day, which was his next film, I believe, after or before he did the second film in this trilogy of films. So you will either hate or love this film. I absolutely love this film. I mean, I get nostalgia every time I think of this film, and it was just a large advance into the scientific world of what dinosaurs actually looked like. And I thought that they got them really down to a T of what they could have, in fact, looked like. Now, I wish that Tyrannosaurus Rex's were a vision were based on movement, but from what I understand, scientifically, that was not true. But I love the fact that velociraptors hunted in packs, and they always traveled in twos, which I think that hunter, which I believe went after the raptors, forgot to bear in mind. Ultimately, I enjoyed this film. I hope that anyone else who has seen this film will enjoy it, and hopefully you enjoyed my perspective on this film, and enjoy my other reviews of these separate films individually momentarily, for I will be going through each and every one of them. In any case, hopefully you have a good evening. Like, share, and subscribe. I enjoy talking about movies 24/7, and I enjoy sharing what I know. In any case, I bid you good evening, and hopefully you are watching this film as we speak, so that you know that I've got everything right. Talk to you later.